Okay, so hopefully your graph looks something like this. All I did was I just plotted these points. That's all I did. So now it says using the table determine the cost per guest. All right, so let's think now. Based on our learning target, we had to identify two things. We had to identify the initial condition and the rate of change. So in this case, our initial condition, let me label these axes because I forgot to do that before, our total cost, it tells me is y, and our number of guests is over here. Okay, so the cost per guest and the party fee that they charge no matter what. Take a minute and just think, which do you think is our initial condition and which do you think is the rate of change? All right, hopefully you said that the cost per guest, this is our rate of change or our slope, and the party fee, this is B, our initial value. Okay, so using the table determine what is the cost per guest? Well, what is the rate of change? Maybe you can just look at the chart and figure out that it's $3 per guest, but if not, that's okay. We'll just stick to our change in Y divided by change in X, which is just, we'll say 56 minus $53 divided by 2 minus 1 guests equals, comes out to be $3 per guest. And notice I am using units here. Okay, so that's very important, $3 per guest. So now that that's established, the party fee. Okay, the party fee is our initial condition. How much does it cost, regardless, how much does it cost if no one comes to this party? Okay, you can kind of look at your graph. We just extended the line a little bit from our last point in C and get an idea, or we can look at our pattern. Okay, so remember, before, to find our initial condition, we have to look for where x equals 0. Sometimes we need to add on. Do we have an x equals 0 here? We do not. So that means I need to add on a row up top. So when the number of guests is 0, what's going to happen? What's going to be my total cost? Well, if I know my rate of change is $3, think, should I add or subtract 3 from 53? I need to subtract, of course, because the number of guests is going down. It wouldn't make sense to add. It wouldn't make sense to pay more for 0 guests than it would be for 1. Okay, so my initial condition is $50. Now, of course, to finish this off, we need to find the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals well, if you want to try this on your own, pause it now. And I would encourage you all to pause it and try it on your own. But just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. 3x plus 50. That's the equation of this line. And if we wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, just looking at this line, we would see our y-intercept is 50 and our rate of change is 3. Okay, so that's how we do that. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to keep on going. We're not going to do every single one, but I would like to do one of these. Let's just do number 9 together. We're trying to find the equation of this line, which the rate of change, our slope, and our initial value, b. Finding the rate of change, all I need are 2 perfect points. Here's 1, and I apologize, it's a little bit tough to see. Here's 2. Okay, make my triangle. Decide, is this uphill or downhill? Well, I think it's downhill, and I think I'm right. So it's going to be a negative. Now the question is, I go to get from my first point to my second, I have to go down how many? This is a 4 up here, and this is a 0. So down 4. Then I have to go to the right, how many? 3. So there's my rate of change. Initial value, okay, or the y-intercept. Hopefully our point is right there, it's 4. Putting it all together, just plain old y equals negative 4 over 3x plus 4. If you want to watch how I did that again, feel free to do that. I'm not going to do number 10 because I want you to try that one on your own. Okay, it's important that you're going through these on your own. And also the same thing on number 11, looking for the y-intercept, or b, or our initial condition, which I'm not going to tell you what you need to be looking for, what value of x, but I've said it before, so if you can't remember, go back in the YouTube video and find out what am I looking for. X equals blank. When x equals blank, I have the initial condition. What are you trying to find? Okay, flipping it over. let's just try, number 3 is very, very similar to our example from the notes. Okay, so we're not going to do that with you right now because you have this as your guide. Use this and try and apply this knowledge to number 3. I think you can do it. And number 2 is a little bit tricky. It shouldn't be George, I don't know what that word is. George earns this much per hour. It's a little bit tricky, but I think you can still do it. I want you to think through that one on your own. Okay, and a hint is given to you right there as well. For number 4, we'll do this together. So number 4 says a skyscraper is built at an elevation of 24 feet above sea level. So right now, I know 24 is going to be important somehow. It's either going to be one of 2 things, and they are, this is where I would ask questions for pluses, but since no one's here right now, the slope, or my rate of change, and the y-intercept, or my initial condition, initial value. Here it says value. Okay, so each story that is added to the skyscraper adds 9 feet. So I need to find the rate of change and the initial value. Well, I've got 2 numbers to work with. I've got 24 and I've got 9. So which number represents how much the height of this skyscraper is changing with each floor that's added? Okay, hopefully you said 9, okay, because if you think about this, so here's my land, okay, maybe here's the ocean down here, okay. Right now I'm at 24 feet above sea level. With each floor or each story I add, I'm going to be adding another 9 feet. So I'm not starting at 0, I'm starting at 24. This 24 is never going to change. What is going to change is how many stories I'm adding. Okay, and with each story that I add, I have to add another 9 feet. So my rate of change is 9 feet per story. And I'm very careful to include units because if you do not include units, you will be docked points. And my initial value is just 24 feet. Okay, so from here it's just a matter of putting in, making the correct substitution. We've already found M, we've already found B. We just have to write an equation. Y equals, and I'm going to leave it at that because I know that you've got in your notebook how to make the substitution. I think it was our goal number 3 from the learning target number on last week, Thursday or something like that, shows us how to make the substitution with these 2 M and B variables. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, but that should give you some help on that one. Okay, number 5, okay, I'm going to go through number 5, and number 6 will be on your own. So this one, number 5, again, now I've got a chart. Okay, my chart is just like here. So think back, what are you looking for in order to find the initial value? Well, I need to know when x is, what did we say again? Oh yeah, we said 0. Okay, that's what's important, x is 0. Let's check, do I have it? Here are my x's. They're right here in this line. Here's my y's, but I want to look at x's right now. I've got a 2, a 4, 6, 8, 10. I do not have a 0. So, it means I've got to add, that's okay. So 6, 4, 2, just so you know, let's say for instance my table cut off, it stopped at 4. Could I just skip from 4 to 0? No, probably not, definitely not, unless you also were good enough to know to skip this 2 also. Okay, if you're going to use the pattern method of figuring out what your y-intercept or your initial value is going to be, make sure that everything is going in order. So I've got 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, okay, 0, because this is all going down by 2's. Now let's look at y's. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What comes next? 1. All right, so my initial value is just 1. My rate of change, okay, maybe we can see it, maybe not. Either way, I'm just going to set up the equation, which is change in y divided by change in x. Okay, so change in y divided by change in x, just going to be, it doesn't matter which points I pick. I'm going to say, I'll do these 2. So 4 minus 3 all over 6 minus 4 comes out to be 1/2. So my rate of change is 1/2. And again, setting it up, the equation, just in case before you weren't able to find it in your notes from before, I'll do it for you. Y equals my rate of change, 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, so there's your example. Anything that you need to watch twice, 3 times, 4 times, go right ahead. Okay, these YouTube videos are there for you. Okay, you can use them at home, you can use them now. You should be using them now in class. It's to help you get ready and prepare for your quiz and to complete this problem set even though I'm not here. Okay, so you need to do 2, 3, and 6 on your own. If you want to try any of the other ones, these I think are very doable. Okay, try these, it'll be extra credit for you. Otherwise, I'm going to end it here. Okay, this problem set, like I said before, if you are in cohort 3 or cohort 2, it is due on Thursday. If you are in cohort 4, it is also due on Thursday. If you are in cohort 1, it is due on Friday. All right. See you later, guys.